All right, Fort Ligonier days, 5K, finished first overall in 1847. It was a nice little chilly morning. I think like 45 to 49 degrees when we started. Wasn't really breezy at all today, but still a little chilly. But I was warm enough because it was in that high 40-degree range, so I still got away with just compression shorts, calf sleeves, and a long sleeve shirt to start. I didn't put any shorts over top, even though I brought them, but I figured I was good. I didn't even wear a beanie. I just wore a regular hat. So I got lucky today. I don't know, it was a nice race. There's like 200 people. I think 194 pre-registered last night. When I last looked, I don't know what the final number was of finishers that actually, or people that actually showed up. The weather held off good, even though it sprinkled a little bit as I was walking over to get my bib this morning. Luckily, it stopped. But other than that, plan was today to just let people go and then go fishing. And when I say go fishing, I mean like reel them in later on. But that didn't last too long, obviously. There was a bunch of kids at the front of the start. As they took off, my instincts just went with me. By the time we hit the main street, like 2-3 into the race, I was probably already second place. But then I just didn't take the lead till maybe a half mile or 0.6 into the race. Because it starts at the Ligonier High School, just like right outside the one entrance, and then we finish up like right in front of the main entrance this year. They moved it to the main entrance. Before it was on the side of the building. Yeah, unless they moved it last year. I can't remember if they moved it last year to the main entrance or not. But either way, it's in front of the main entrance to finish from now on. But as we hit Main Street, I was in second place, just waiting for kid in front of me to fade or slow up, and as long as I stayed steady, I was like, I'll pass him eventually. By the time we crested the hill on Main Street, I took over the lead and just ran from there. A bunch of people were cheering already this morning. Trying to think what else. Yeah, it was, well, I smelled the food as we were running around the diamond. I was like, oh God, there's too much different kinds of food smells early in the morning. And it was just like, oh, I was starting to gag just because all the different smells coming together in one point. But I took the inside and got that little whip effect going around the diamond both times. And as we headed out the other side of the main street, still to the turnaround, there's a little bit of an incline. I turned it on a little bit there because I knew that downhill was coming. So I wanted to burn a little bit more energy on that last little incline. And then once we hit the downhill, I was like, all right, time to make a little bit of a gap if you can. So I pushed it a little bit more on the downhill to try to create more of a gap. And then because once you turn around, you're going uphill for a couple of tenths. I figured burn it on the way down so then you could take it a little bit easier on that uphill, and that's what I did. Took it, pulled back a little bit on that uphill on the way back. Since I had 20-30 second lead at that point, so I could relax a little bit more and then didn't have to put the hammer down on the hill, which saved me later on. And once we hit the flat section, heading back towards the diamond on the way back, I looked a few times and I saw that I still had that 20-30 second lead. So I felt very comfortable because once we hit the diamond on the way back, it was probably 2.5-ish into the race, maybe. I don't know exactly. Maybe 2.3 to 2.5. And I'm looking back, all right, as long as you don't do something stupid, you got this. But actually a little bit before that, right at the top of the hill, I did get a little bit too hot with my long sleeve shirt on, so I ended up pulling it over my head. I kept the sleeves down, so that way my hands, you know, kept my arms a little bit warmer, so my hands didn't freeze up as quick. But pulled my shirt up, let everybody see my fat ass jiggle a little bit around the Napa area. Then I just kept it up the rest of the race. But again, once we hit the diamond on the way back, I felt confident that I had it. Then I used that last little downhill to open it up a little bit more. Crowd started coming a little bit more. There's a lot more people on the way back along the road, probably because they realized the race was going on, so they wanted to see. Then once we hit that right-hand turn side street, head to the back side of the school, it got really dead because there's really nobody stands there, but I knew I had it then, so I did relax a little bit, then just finish strong, I guess. The last little, there's like an extra little hill on the way back because the back side of the high school, there's a little bit of a climb, maybe like 20-30 foot climb to finish before we actually come into the school. But for some reason, I kept thinking we were on the far side parking lot to finish like we used to. So I was sort of gearing up for that. And then when I didn't see the finish line, I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? Then I realized it was in front of the school this year. So I had to make sure I didn't shut it down right away. But it was a pretty good crowd. Gonna go walk around Fort Days now for a little bit. Maybe get some good food. Got a beach towel for winning the race overall. It's somewhere in the back seat right now. Glad I came. It was a nice crowd. A lot of familiar faces. A lot of cheers. Guess that's about it. Pretty straightforward today because it's basically an out and back type course, except for like 3/10 or 4/10. So you do get to see your position a lot. So you pretty much know what to do and how to handle it as long as you're smart. Because you can always look behind you, since it's like, even though it's an out and back, it's pretty straight, like a couple long sections, so you could always see where you're at placement wise as compared to your competition. So then you can adjust yourself from there. That's what I did. Probably the 5th or 6th year I've done the race at least. Not as cold as it usually is, so that's nice. But I don't know what else to really say. Just glad I came, took home the win. And yeah. I don't know. Just happy I got to see everybody today, all the familiar faces. And that's about it.